fifth grade. We're going to talk about Hatchet today. I love this book. I'm so excited to be reading it with you. We're getting to some really good parts, and Brian starts to not just sort of make it, but he's actually like surviving and thriving in the woods and learning a lot about life and nature, and it's just really exciting. So I want you to get your study guides out because I'm going to go over with you the the guided reading blanks for chapters 14 and 15, which you were supposed to read. So get those out. Don't forget, you're supposed to be taking pictures of these and emailing them to me. Now, some of you haven't sent me guided reading pages. If it is because you lost your study guide, then what you can do for me is write a little summary of each chapter and send those to me instead. And I will give you some points for the guided reading pages. But let me know, like if you've misplaced your study guide and that's the reason why you aren't sending me any pages, okay? So let's look at pages 19 and 20 of the study guide. I'm just going to go over the blanks of the chapter for you. Now, I really like this. I like these chapters because I like the way that Brian is starting to really make sense of his environment, and he names things, like he names the full birds. He has the day of first fire. He has first food day, feast day, and you can see how he's naming things in order to remember and to make sense of his environment. So let's look at chapter 13, some of the blanks. Number one day when Brian was picking berries, he saw a female bear and her cubs. And he realized that she wasn't there to harm him. And then another day he saw 4 wolves on the hill, which scared him at first. But then again, they weren't there to harm him either. Number 3, it has been 47 days since the crash and 42 days since he became the new Brian. Now you'll notice that that sort of coordinates with the time when the coordinates with the time when the plane came and then left and didn't get him. Now, if you haven't been keeping up on your checkmark tallies, your Hatchet crash tally on page 1 of your study guide, you can do that now. You can update it. It's been 47 days. So go ahead and make sure you've checked off 47 of those squares on the crash tally, okay? All right, number 4, the day he became the new Brian. Number 4, when the madness had come and gone that day, Brian had, oh no, that's not the madness, it's the plane. When the plane, I put the wrong thing. And then I answered the question. Now I have to fix it because I'm like, no, it's when the plane had come and gone that day. Brian had decided it was over. He let the fire go out and he tried to cut himself with his hatchet to end his life. So he got really sad and depressed and was like, I'm done. I can't survive here. But he survived. And then after this, number 5, Brian realized 2 things. A, he was not the same, and B, he would not die. So number 6, the first bow and arrow, with the first bow and arrows, Brian almost killed himself. Number 7, Brian's bow was carefully shaped with thick sides. I don't think carefully goes there, but I couldn't find anything. I wasn't sure what went there. I read over that section several times. So if you found what the shape was it semicircle shaped? Maybe it was thickly shaped? I was confused by that one, so I put carefully shaped, but I don't think that's right. So in the comments, tell me what you said, what you put, okay? Because maybe you have something better than me on that one. Number 8, Brian used scraps from the dead fish as bait, which was really smart of him. Number 9, on the first day of fish, Brian thinks he ate over 20 pounds. That's a lot of fish. 10, Brian is full of tough hope. All right, so chapter 14 now, he talks about some of the mistakes that he's made. But in reality, you can see that he learned from all of these mistakes and became a better person and a better survivor after it. So number 1, the single driving force in nature is to eat. Number 2, one night a skunk tries to steal some eggs from Brian, and Brian threw sand at the skunk and told him to leave, which was dumb, because then the skunk was not amused, lifted its tail, and sprayed Brian right in the face. Brian was blind for 2 hours, and his eyes hurt for 2 weeks. Number 3, Brian learns the second most important thing about nature is the food must be protected and that shelter is important. So if you had shelter is important, that could also be a good answer. So number 4, Brian tore down his shelter and made a stronger one. Number 5, Brian decided to hide his food above the door. He made a ladder out of the dead pine he found, and then he got himself a little bit of a ledge to protect his food. And then number 6, Brian decided to trap the fish by making a small pond. So he ended up finding a way to feed himself without less effort. So those are your study guide questions for that. And I hope that you are enjoying this book as much as I am. Every time I read it, I love it. And I will be checking in with you guys and seeing you again very soon. Have a wonderful day and a yeah. I don't know what I'm saying. Have a good day. I miss you. See you soon.